Hi Betty, this is Steve here, and I had some questions about the International Phonetic Alphabet. And since you are a retired speech pathologist, I thought you might be able to help me with some of these sounds.
Steve, there are a lot of sounds, but some of them are very repetitive. I always started with the lip sounds because they're the easiest, like the P, the B, and the M. I would start with saying pa, ba, And then you have the F and V sounds, which is the lip and the upper teeth sounds. Those are also visible sounds for children. F, 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 V, v, same sound, only again, the V is sounded with your voice box. The tongue tip sounds are T, D, N. T and D are the same sound, except ta is not voiced, da is voiced, and N is a separate sound. Back of the tongue sounds are K and G. They're a little harder for kids because they can't be seen. Ka and ga are made exactly the same way, only the G is voiced. Tongue sounds L and R are hard for children. La, 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 and are both difficult. Later sounds that are learned usually by the time they're 6 years old. Sibilant sounds are S, S, and then those can't always be heard by children until a certain age. Then the Z is the sibilant sound, same as S, only it's voiced. S, SH is, we call it the quiet sound. Shh. And though if you voice it, it becomes the CH. Ch, ch. And sh, ch, ch. And the J sound is voiced, J. And the TH sound is unvoiced. It's a sibilant sound. It's air rushing over the articulation makers, and that's all I have written down.
Now, when you were a speech pathologist back in Wisconsin, you helped kids with stuttering and lisps and all kinds of speech problems. How many schools did you go to way back then?
Oh, maybe half a dozen country schools. They had some of the country schools that I would visit too. But mainly my main office was in the elementary building and then in Liberty Pole schools, the two that had the most kids.
And you were in great demand way back then, weren't you?
Oh, they had a hard time they had made out a grant from a federal government for money for a speech and language pathologist, for a nurse, school nurse, for a elementary guidance counselor, for a librarian, for some of these things that they didn't have any money for, any money for. And they signed up a teacher and hired one for everything except the speech and language pathology. There weren't enough of us to go around in that particular early stages of the specialty. And so Chatley, the principal of the school, came to me and said, is there any chance that I would teach for part-time or some way so that they could get money for all of these different areas. They had written back to the feds and said they would accept all of the teachers accept the speech and language which they couldn't get. And the feds wrote back and said, no, you will not. You will either check accept or reject on the grant.
That was it.
That was it. Either you take it or you don't take it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. So when they talked to me about it, and I said, Chet, I've got 3 kids in school. Dave is working full time. I don't think I can do it. And he said, you know how much money we're going to lose in the Finally, he talked, because through the school, which was, we're in a less financially secure school district, we needed that money. So I said, well, I could work maybe 3 days a week from 9 till 3, and then I can get the kids off to school by 9.
Right.
And then they'd be home before they get home.
Right.
He said, I don't care what you put down, just put your name on that bottom line with speech and language pathology.
And they'll get the money.
And we'll get the money. And they did, and they got the money for
Wow.
everybody.
Now, how old are you right now?
I am 92 years old right now.
Hard to believe. How old is Penny Lane?
She's 11 years old.
Oh, and what is that in dog years? Is that
Well, it used to be
77?
77, but now it's a little less, they say, because they live longer.
well, Penny liked that. She kind of perked up when she heard she wasn't quite as old as she thought she was.
I'm older than I thought I was.
Well, thank you for that update on the International Phonetic Alphabet.
You're welcome.